how can Jesus have had the fully human experience if he never doubted if there was a God, never struggled to hear from him, or grieved not knowing if he'd see his loved one again?
Well, no one who understands the incarnation is saying that Jesus had the fully human experience. What we are saying is that Jesus was fully human. And he experienced the standard kinds of things that humans experience qua human in virtue of being human. All right? So in this sense, he was more like Adam, where Adam didn't have all of that. Jesus never had human beings have guilt. They feel guilt, actual culpability for wrong things that they have done. Well, this is part of the universal human experience of fallen human beings. But Jesus never felt that because he felt the consequence of guilt on the cross. But he never felt being guilty because he never was guilty. Okay, no deceit was ever found in his mouth. This is 1 Peter 2, and other things like that, you know. And so there is not a one-to-one correlation between the life of Jesus and our lives. Clearly, there are things that he did not personally experience because they are inconsistent with him being a sinless human being. However, notice that none of these are essential parts of being human. They are what called accidental parts. So I used to have brown hair, and now I have white hair. All right? Because this property that I had of the color of my hair is accidental. In other words, it could have been otherwise, and I could still be me. All right? Man's fallenness is not an essential property to humanity. God didn't make human beings fallen. It was a consequence of their behavior. He made them able to fall, for sure, but he did not make them bad. And by the way, this comes up a lot in conversations with people who question the sexual morality of the Bible, and they say, well, why would God make me gay and then tell me not to pursue that kind of sex? All right. Well, that presumes that God made them gay. Why would anybody believe that? There is no evidence such a thing. Certainly, no theological evidence, and no biological evidence they were made gay biologically. I mean, that's a urban legend when it comes to the research. Okay, so when God made human beings, he made them morally innocent, no sin. All right, but he didn't make them immutably innocent. Jesus also was made morally innocent, and he had all the qualities that are native to true humanity. He did not have qualities that were accidental to humanity. He didn't have gray hair. That's an accidental property. I don't think he had gray hair.
You actually don't know. Maybe he did.
I'm presuming maybe he was bald, for goodness sake, for all we know. But the point, I think you see the point I'm making. And so there are many experiences that we have that are in virtue of being in a fallen world. But by the way, he did share in a lot of those things. When he suffered, he uttered no threats. And when he was reviled, he did not revile himself. He did not revile in return, but kept entrusting himself to him who judges righteously. That's in the end of 1 Peter 2. So Jesus succumbed to the experience of the contingencies of a fallen world, but there were other features of his life of experience, his interior life, that were going to be different because of his divine nature and the fact that until the cross he was in complete and perfect harmony with the Father. Mm-hmm. Relational harmony. We don't have that. We don't have anything like that. And that's something that will be the case if I understand John 17, the prayer there, properly, but it's not now.
So when I look at these specific things that Fritters mentioned, he never doubted there was a God. He never struggled to hear from him. He was never grieved, not knowing if he'd see his loved one again. All of these things are a result of separation from God, which is a result of being a fallen human being. Mm-hmm. And or a lack of trust in God or a separation from God. So obviously Jesus wouldn't have those things. But Greg, since you mentioned Adam, you would have to say that God did not create a human being, because when Adam was first created, he was not fallen. So it can't be essential to being a human being, or Adam wasn't a human being.
That's right.
So, so the idea that it's not central to human nature, I think, is key here.
Yeah, fallenness is accidental. It's not essential. Mm-hmm. Everything that was essential to being a true human was true about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.